let's discuss some of the do's and don'ts of group discussion. Now today we will be discussing various factors which should be done and some other factors which should be avoided in group discussion. Right? So let us start with the do's of group discussion. Number 1, speak pleasantly and politely to the group. Right? Your voice modulation should be soft enough, it should be pleasing, should not be irritating. So first factor that should be considered in group discussion platform is speak pleasantly and politely to the group members. Right, that is going to enhance your personality also. So speak pleasantly and politely to the group. Number 2, respect the contribution of every speaker. Right, you should be graceful enough to respect the contribution of every participant, of every contributing member of the group. So that's the second one. The factor that should be considered, should always be done, is respect the contribution of every speaker, of the group. Right? Number 3, third factor is that you should remember that a discussion is not an argument. Right? It's not a war that is going on. It's not an argument. Learn to disagree politely. If you are not agreeing to a particular point, so you should be polite enough to show your disagreement. You should not, you should not get aggressive, but you should learn to disagree politely. So third is, should remember that a discussion is not an argument. So you should not get aggressive. You should learn to disagree politely. Right? You should always learn to disagree politely. That's the third factor. Now think about your contribution and answer before you speak. Right? How best can you answer or contribute to a topic? So you should always think about your contribution, or you should always think about your answer before you speak. So that is the fourth one, that you should always think about your contribution. You should always think about your contribution or answer before you speak. You should always think about the contribution or the answer that you are going to put up before you speak. How best can you answer or contribute to a particular topic? उसके बारे में पहले सोचना ज़रूरी है, उसका पहले analysis, एक self belief रखना ज़रूरी है. Then you should always come out with your answer in a very confident manner. So you should think about your contribution or answer before you speak. Right? Next, you should always try to stick to the topic. Don't introduce irrelevant information. I repeat, you should always try to stick to the topic. Don't come up with irrelevant facts, illogical information just for the sake of speaking. So you should always try to stick to the topic. I repeat, you should not come up with irrelevant facts or illogical data. To stick to the topic. You should not introduce irrelevant or illogical information just for the sake of speaking or just to prove your point. Should always stick to the topic, should not go, out of the context, should not give any quote which are out of the context, should not give any illogical or irrelevant fact just to prove your point or just for the sake of speaking. Next, number 6. You should always be aware of your body language, right? Body language, gestures, उनको हमेशा ध्यान रखना है. Whenever you are speaking, you should maintain an eye contact with the other members of the group, right? So I repeat, be aware of your body language. That's the next one. Be aware of your body language. Whenever you are speaking, you should maintain an eye contact with other members of the group, right? Maintain eye contact with other group members. So you should always be aware of your body language, should always maintain the eye contact with other group members, right? Next, agree with the knowledge of others and whatever you find interesting in the facts presented by other speakers. So remember, the next point you should always remember is to agree with the knowledge of others, agree with the knowledge of others and the facts that you find interesting. Should always respect the others' opinion whenever they are correct, whenever they are giving some fruitful and constructive information, logical information. You should always agree to that, right? Just for the sake of disagreeing, you cannot, get disagree with every logical fact. So you should always try to agree with the knowledge, the facts which are presented by other speakers and all the facts which you find interesting also. Next is, you should listen to the topic properly. Take time to understand it and think about the points you want to elaborate. I repeat, you should always take time to think about the topic properly, should take time to understand it and think about the points you want to elaborate, right? So that's the next one, that is listen to the topic properly and take time to understand. You should not be in any kind of a haste, right? Should not be in any hurry. You should always take time to understand and then think about the points you want to elaborate and think about the points you want to elaborate, to discuss. So a picture should come into your mind, it should be drafted carefully and all the information should be well organized whenever you are going to come up with your facts along with logical reasoning. So these are some of the factors which should always be taken care of. Should speak pleasantly and politely to the group. Respect the contribution of every speaker. Remember that a discussion is not an argument. You should learn to disagree politely. Then think about your contribution and answer before you speak. Try to stick to the topic, right? You should not introduce irrelevant or illogical information. Be aware of your body language. Maintain eye contact with other members of the group. Agree with the knowledge of others, right? They are logical facts. They are truly interesting information. Listen to the topic properly. Should not be in any kind of a haste. Should not be in any hurry. Take time to understand and think about the points you want to elaborate. So these are the do's which should be taken care of while preparing for group discussion. Next, I come up with some don'ts. The points which should not be used, or the points which should be avoided. Number one, do not lose temper at any stage of the group discussion. If you are not getting any chance to speak, you should not get irritated. You should not lose your temper, right? Even if you are not agreeing with someone's opinion or with the opinion of other group members, you should not lose temper. So that's the first one. Don't lose temper, right? You should always maintain your calm. A discussion, remember, it is not an argument, it's not a war that is going on. So you should not lose temper in any stage. Number two, you should never scream or shout at other group members, right? Your voice should be strong enough to prove your point, but it should not be too loud that it becomes like a scream. It sounds like a scream, or it looks as if you are shouting at someone, because that might prove very costly and it might show a negative aspect of your personality. So you should not shout, never scream. Use moderate tone or medium pitch. Your tone should be soft enough, it should be moderate, the pitch should always be medium, right? Next, do not use so many gestures, right? Don't use many gestures which might irritate other group members. No finger pointing, right? There should not be finger pointing like this. No table thumping, right? So it might irritate the others, and it might also show that you are trying to dominate others, or you are trying to be aggressive. So you should always avoid various gestures like finger pointing or table thumping. So don't use many gestures like finger pointing or table thumping. These kind of gestures should be avoided. Do not dominate the discussion, right? Confident speakers should allow other quieter members to contribute. They should also encourage those members who are very quiet. So you should always encourage and motivate those quiet speakers to come up with their viewpoints. Remember, you should not dominate the discussion. So that's my next point. Don't dominate the discussion. You should allow others to speak, and in fact, the most positive aspect of a confident speaker is that he encourages and allows other quieter members to speak, right? So you should never dominate the discussion. It also might prove costly. You should always allow other quieter members to speak. You can also encourage them to speak. Don't dominate the discussion. And confident speakers, remember, they should allow the quieter members to speak. Next is, don't interrupt while a person is speaking. Let the speaker finish, right? Whatever his viewpoint is there, you should allow him to finish his quote or finish his viewpoint. So should never interrupt. Don't interrupt the speaker let him finish, right? Wait for the speaker to finish, then you can come up with your viewpoint. So don't interrupt. You should always wait for the speaker to finish. Right? It again might prove very costly if you are interrupting time and again. It might also irritate the other participants of the group. So you should not interrupt. You should wait for the speaker to finish. Next is don't draw too much on personal experience and any other anecdote. Right? Your personal experience might be different from some others' experience. So do not rely, don't draw any inference on your personal experience or some anecdote. Do not draw too much on personal experience or anecdote. Always rely on true facts and logical reasoning. So these are some of the most important tips which should be followed in a group discussion. The do's and don'ts of group discussion: do not lose temper, should not shout, maintain a soft, moderate pitch, a medium tone, do not use too many gestures like finger pointing or table thumping, do not dominate the discussion, allow others to speak, encourage the quieter members to come up with their viewpoints, do not interrupt, wait for the speakers to finish, and don't draw too much on personal experience or anecdote. Remember these points to be successful in group discussions.